Hi, it's Chava, and I am here to answer your questions. I've had a couple friends and clients send me some questions that they would like to have answered from a Chinese psychological perspective. And so I'm just going to start doing that one by one. And if you, the listener slash watcher, have any questions, then you should feel free to email me or message me or DM me or whatever, and let me know how I can help you. And I'm going to start with the first question that kind of inspired me to do this because it was just the best text message I ever got, and I wanted to share it with everyone. So someone texted me and she wrote, "How do I motivate a rabbit to pick up her room?" Um, so a lot of my friends and people who know me well, and some of my patients and some of my clients have gotten really into the Chinese personality types and the zodiac animals and the different years. And they kind of know like what all their kids are. And I know someone who looks up what the general like personality type of guys is before she goes on dates with them, if she can get their details. Um, and so sometimes I get questions like this: how do I make my ox do this? My kid is wood and earth. How can I blah, blah, blah? But I just love the how do I get a rabbit to clean her room? So if you have any relatives or kids who are rabbits, or if you're a rabbit or teammates or whatever, and I'll put a list of like what those dates are, what dates correspond with this kind of rabbit outlook on the world in the notes, which will be below if you're watching this in a video. And if you're just listening, then they'll be wherever the notes are. I'm still working on how I'm going to distribute this. But in order to answer the question, how do I motivate a rabbit? We have to kind of think of what's important to a rabbit. And we can literally picture the animal, which is really easy for me because my parents raised rabbits for their hair, like long-haired rabbits, and I would feed them and take care of them. And I have like bites from rabbits, which you probably can't see because the video quality sucks. So a rabbit is basically a combination of two things. It's like pure survival instinct and a deep, deep caring for its family and its home and its den. And so rabbits, people who have this personality, which the ancient Chinese philosophers described as being like a rabbit, are people who are very motivated by like taking care of their home, taking care of their family, and everything they need to survive. And so these can be people who are really nice and really friendly and good to get, easy to get along with and good to work with, unless you like move their food or you act in a way that makes them think you're untrustworthy. And then they can get really defensive in terms of family life. Like they're usually great, kind, loving, and they're going to do what they need to do to take care of their family. But they're also very vulnerable to the people who are close to them. And if you hurt one, then they're going to turn around. They're either going to run away from you or they're going to turn around and they're going to lash out. And when they lash out, they go for the soft underbelly because they feel weak and vulnerable. And so they're just going to try and defend themselves as best they can. So rabbits can really be like your best friend and the greatest kid ever. But if they get hurt, if they are traumatized, if something bad happens to them, they can end up being really like isolating themselves and cutting themselves off from people. And so everyone has that potential within them, but rabbits tend to take their reactions to both good things and bad things that happen to them in life to these kind of extremes, because they have this deep, deep vulnerability that comes with being open and being just so loving and letting their family and their close friends right in. And on the other hand, knowing that they're that vulnerable, they will defend themselves and they will do what they need to survive. So how do we take all of this and get an 11-year-old, or however old the girl was when the question was asked, how do we get someone to clean their room? So things that rabbits care about tend to be either the feeling of the home, in terms of like home and taking care of stuff. Either the feeling of the home, making it be more home-like, more warm, more open, to letting them do their thing and be themselves, or kind of more orderly, more organized, safer, you know, not having things that are going to trip you or hurt you. And so what I would do in order to motivate a rabbit kid is I would probably, on the one hand, you know, I would give them a very set goal. I would break it down. I would make it, you know, very clear, like you need to do 10 minutes of work, or you need to pick up 7 things. Give them something that's very clear and easy to understand so that they don't get all mixed up in like, have I done enough? Is it good enough? Because there can be this kind of perfectionist thing. And then, you know, make sure that there is a reward that matches their need. So it could be that like, we're going to clean the room up, and then your room will be the nicest, cleanest, most homey, like warmest room in the house. And so it's just going to be so nice for you. Or it can be something about helping the family, like we're all pitching in and we're working together as a family and as a team in order to help make the house nicer for all of us. Or it can be, you know, something that they really want, that they need, like with kids, like everyone cares about survival. Rabbits really care about survival, but for kids, their survival can be more like what they see as survival can be more about their social relationships, or, you know, having the thing that will show all the other kids that their parents really love them and care about them. So it can be something like, you know, if you do X, then you can have Y, where Y is either going to be something that makes them feel really loved and really in the family, or something that they can kind of show off and say, you know, hey, mom and dad have my back. I'm protected. Don't mess with me. Whether that's like a new piece of clothing or a game or getting to stay up late or chat with friends, just something that makes them appear like that, where they feel valued and loved, but also where they can show the world that they're valued and that they're loved and that someone has their back. Also, rabbits are very well motivated by money. So bribery might work. And again, it's not money because they're greedy. It's money because they need to be able to take care of things and take care of people and know that like they've got their end covered. So, you know, you could give them, if you have an allowance system, that might work well with rabbits, or like paying for chores, that could be something that works well. And if you have a rabbit kid and they're getting an allowance or they're getting income from somewhere, sitting with them and going over like how to save and making sure that they're not saving too much. Like both of these things, like explaining how money works. These are things they're going to get into, and these are things they're going to need to know in order to feel safe. Because I know when I was a kid and I got an allowance, I had goals. Like I knew where I was going to fly the minute I was 18, I was going to travel. And so when I was 11, all of my allowance went in the piggy bank until my mom sat me down and was like, you have to spend at least 20% of your allowance on something that'll be fun. Because she knew that I needed to practice spending money and seeing if I really valued what it brought me, and learn like, oh, I don't really like those things. I do like that thing. Like, you know, it's worth it to spend, for me to spend money on books, and I don't care as much to spend it on CDs, whatever. That practice with money is something that all kids need. And it's something that rabbits will really, really need for their own sense of safety. So that got a little bit astray from how do you motivate them to clean their room. But I think that if you have a rabbit kid, or even maybe a friend or a colleague or another relative, that might be some helpful information for like what motivates them, how to work with them. And I hope you found this helpful. And if you have if you're a rabbit, or if you have any rabbit friends and you'd like to give me some feedback and say, like, let me know how this landed for you, I would love that. And if you have a question about yourself or your kid, you don't need to know your zodiac animal. You can just give me your birth date and what the question is, and I will try and come up with an answer for you. So have a great week. Happy holidays if you're celebrating any this week, and take care of yourselves. Stay safe and warm and avoid Omicron. What can I tell you? Bye.